On December 20th, 2023, the lab technicians at Spintex Medical Center, along with the CEO, Dr. Williams Kweku Sapon and Nefi, conducted an experiment to determine the effect of iTeraCare charged water and 7 Wonders water on food samples. This experiment came about along with other water types such as tap water, mineral water, distilled water, purified water with good words and thoughts manifestation, and again purified water, but this time with bad words and thoughts manifestation. Now, someone might ask, what is iTeraCare charged water and what is 7 Wonders water? Well, as you can see in the video, 7 Wonders water is purified water that has been revitalized by the 7 Wonders bottle produced by the prestigious technological company Price International. The revitalization comes in 7 different ways, which I'll talk about later in the video. Now, iTeraCare charged water. This is water that has been charged and revitalized by the terahertz radiation from the iTeraCare device. Just as we see in the video, we have Dr. Williams and Nefi charging the water with the terahertz radiation from the iTeraCare device, which by the way is also produced by the prestigious technological company Price International. For the benefits, I'll talk about that later in the video, so keep watching. Food samples used in this experimental research. We have slices of apple and cooked rice and cooked rice. Now let's talk about the methodology of the experiment. Some will call it the procedure. The lab technicians put on their personal protective equipment such as gloves and lab coats, and the uncooked rice was also poured into a different sample container. The food samples and various water types were all put together in sterile containers. Consequently, we had sterile containers that were labeled distilled water, others labeled iTeraCare charged water, others also labeled 7 Wonders water, tap water, and mineral water, respectively. The sliced apples were gently dropped into each container, after which 50 milliliters of each water type was poured into the labeled containers containing the sliced apples. The containers were then tightly closed and kept in a dry place. 20 grams of cooked rice was dished into each container respectively. 50 milliliters of each water type was then added to the cooked rice, after which the container was tightly closed and also kept in a dry place. And lastly, 20 grams of the uncooked rice was also dished out into the sterile containers, after which 50 milliliters of each water type was then added to the raw rice. These filled up containers were then sealed tightly and kept in a dry place just like the others. With regards to the bad and good words purified water, 2 sterile containers were labeled bad and good respectively. 20 grams of the cooked rice was dished into each container, after which these were topped up with mineral water and tightly closed. The filled up container with the labeling bad had 8 words said onto it.
You are good, you are perfect, you are special, you are wealthy, you are healthy, you are beautiful, you are perfect. You are useless, you are nasty, you are not important, you are stupid, you are crazy, you are a failure. You can't amount to anything. Stupid, nonsense, foolish.
The filled up container with the labeling bad had 8 words said onto it, and the same goes for the filled up container labeled good, except this had words of love and power whispered onto it. The prepared samples were all sealed tightly and kept in a dry place for observation. After a month of constant observation, the samples were brought out from their cool, dry place. And now we're going to find out how they turned out or how their vitality was affected by the various water types, especially the iTeraCare charged water and the 7 Wonders water. Let's find out. Let's begin with the distilled water. It is observed that the food content immersed in the distilled water had started to go bad. The sliced apple started yellowing at the sides. The cooked rice had a purple to dark film forming at the top. And the water around the uncooked rice had changed and was looking cloudy. And I believe this is due to the electrolyte imbalance and the serious lack of minerals in distilled water. Just so you know, distilled water is water that has been purified by boiling into vapor and condensed back into liquid in a separate container. So yes, distilled water lacks loads of minerals. That doesn't sound good. It is observed that food samples immersed in tap water over time also started to go bad. The sliced apple had gone bad and turned brown. The water around the cooked rice had slightly changed and was not absorbed by the rice. The water around the uncooked rice had a slight discoloration. This may be due to the fact that tap water is not purified or distilled. Also not good. Now let's talk about how the food samples turned out in the mineral water. It is observed that they also started going bad. The sliced apple had partly gone bad and had turned brown. The water around the cooked rice had slightly changed and was not absorbed by the rice. The water around the uncooked rice had a slight discoloration. Now let's see what happens to food samples immersed in the iTeraCare charged water over a period of time. The sliced apple was still green and fresh. The cooked rice still looked good and absorbed some of the iTeraCare charged water. The uncooked rice had not deteriorated and still looked fresh. The iTeraCare charged water around the sliced apple and uncooked rice was still clear and transparent. Isn't it wonderful? The iTeraCare charged water proved to be the best medium so far. The charged water was able to maintain the vitality of the food samples, and this is simply because the terahertz radiation from the iTeraCare device set the cells of these food samples in position to function at their best. The radiation penetrated deep into the cells as it works on the cellular level and activated and energized the cells of these food samples, keeping them alive, healthy, and empowered, resulting in their prolonged vitality. Exactly what every living thing needs. The food samples immersed in the 7 Wonders water turned out the same as those immersed in the iTeraCare charged water. The sliced apple was still green and fresh, the uncooked rice had not deteriorated and still looked fresh, and the water around the sliced apple and uncooked rice was still clear and transparent. This is also a good one. In simple terms, the 7 Wonders water is revitalized water courtesy of the 7 Wonders bottle. This bottle revamps the water by increasing its hydrogen concentration, mineralizing the water with minerals such as zinc, magnesium, potassium, and other trace elements. It also makes the water antioxidant, reducing the damaging effect of free radicals. It also reduces the water molecular sizes to enable easy cellular absorption. These are all the things put in place to enhance good cellular activity, and that's exactly what happened to the cells of the food sample. With regards to the good and bad words purified water, it appeared that food samples put in the container labeled good words still looked good and absorbed all of the water, whereas the food samples put in the container labeled bad words had started going bad with a slight color change. This goes to show us that words are immensely powerful and have great effect on us and everything around us. The good words purified water maintained the freshness of the samples, while the bad words purified water had negative effects on the sample. So be careful what you say, only manifest the good. After a month of constant observation, we have come to the conclusion that distilled water, tap water, and mineral water had bad effect on the food samples. Neither of them was able to sustain the vitality of the food, resulting in the rotting of the apple and expiration of the rice. These water types had no existing nutrients or required properties needed to sustain food or any other natural product for that matter. On the other hand, the iTeraCare charged water and the 7 Wonders water proved otherwise. These water types sustained the vitality of the food samples and maintained their freshness till the end of the experiment. We have these water types, the iTeraCare charged water and the 7 Wonders water, available to us courtesy of Price International, whose vision and mission is to introduce and produce innovative and revolutionary healthcare products and services for the wellness industry. Price, be healthy, be wealthy, be beautiful.